On paper, Max Verstappen will remain a Red Bull driver until the end of 2030. But Formula One contracts are private, and a contract can contain clauses or be changed by agreement. That means a future move to Mercedes or McLaren cannot be ruled out completely. In this video, we will explain what Verstappen's new Red Bull deal actually tells us, what it does not tell us, and why the Mercedes and McLaren stories may be quieter now without being impossible forever. The starting point is simple. Red Bull, Formula One, and Verstappen himself have announced a new contract through 2030. His previous deal ran until the end of 2028. This is not a short extension. It is a major commitment from a four-time world champion and from the team that has been central to his whole Formula One career. Verstappen joined the Red Bull Junior program in 2014. He moved from Toro Rosso to the main Red Bull team in 2016 and won on his debut for them in Spain. Together, they have won 4 Drivers' Championships, 2 Constructors' Championships, and 71 Grands Prix. So, when Verstappen signs until 2030, it is reasonable to say that he has chosen Red Bull as his long-term home. But there is an important difference between saying that and saying he is locked in with no possible way out. The first statement is confirmed. The second is not. Fans often see a contract end date and treat it as the full story. In reality, it is only the part of the story that has been made public. The public does not know Verstappen's salary, bonuses, performance targets, rights, duties, exit terms, or buyout conditions in the new agreement. Red Bull have not published them, Verstappen has not published them. That is normal in Formula One. The exact details of driver contracts are almost always private. It is also why we need to be careful with the phrase, "every driver always has an exit clause." We cannot prove that. Different contracts have different terms. Some agreements may include performance clauses, some may include options. Some may set conditions for an early departure. Some may simply require the team and driver to agree on a separation. What we can say is that Verstappen's previous Red Bull deal included a known performance-related exit route. Sky Sports reported that he could have joined another team for 2027 if he was outside the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship at the start of the summer break. That condition was met this season. Verstappen was 6th, 110 points behind championship leader Kimi Antonelli before the Dutch Grand Prix. He had the chance to look elsewhere. Instead, he signed a new deal with Red Bull. That tells us something important about the present. Verstappen is not searching for a way out right now. He has looked at Red Bull's progress, its people, its power unit project, and Laurent Mekies' plan for the team, and he has decided to commit. It does not tell us the exact terms of the new agreement. There has been discussion about that after the announcement. Eric van Haren of De Telegraaf has argued that it would be surprising if Verstappen signed a contract of this length without clauses, given how closely he and his management protect his future. That is a journalist's analysis, not a confirmed clause in the contract. It is useful context, but it should not be presented as a leak from Red Bull or Verstappen's management. So, could Verstappen still leave before 2030? The honest answer is yes, it is possible in theory, but nobody outside the agreement can say exactly how, when, or under what conditions. There are a few general ways an early departure can happen in professional sport. A contract can contain a specific exit clause. Both sides can agree to end or change a contract. Or an unusual situation can lead to new negotiations. But none of those possibilities prove that Verstappen is planning a move, or that he can leave whenever he wants. The 2030 deal still matters. It means any team hoping to sign him will now face a much harder situation than before. They would need a reason for Verstappen to leave, a seat that interests him, and an agreement that works for Verstappen, Red Bull, and the other team. That is a lot of things needing to happen at once. Mercedes are the obvious team to discuss first. The Mercedes link has been around for a long time because Toto Wolff has made no secret of his respect for Verstappen. When Red Bull struggled early in 2026, Mercedes seemed like a possible destination. The team are leading the current championship with Antonelli, and George Russell is also under contract for 2027. But that is exactly why a move to Mercedes is not a realistic story for next season. Their 2 seats are already filled for 2027. Could it change later? Of course. Formula 1 changes quickly, contracts expire, drivers choose different plans, and teams can make unexpected decisions. But there is no confirmed Verstappen to Mercedes move, no reported offer, and no public clause that opens a clear route to Brackley. The same applies to McLaren, although the situation is even more difficult in the short term. McLaren have Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri signed for 2027. The team won both championships in 2025 and have remained one of the leading teams under the new rules. For McLaren to sign him in the future, one of their drivers would need to leave, a contract would need to change, and Verstappen would have to decide that McLaren was the better project. Again, none of that is impossible, but none of it is close to happening today. This is the key difference between possibility and probability. A move to Mercedes or McLaren remains possible because Formula 1 is a long sport and contracts can change. It is not probable in the immediate future because Verstappen has just signed a major extension, while both teams have their own drivers secured for 2027. Red Bull have also given Verstappen reasons to stay. The team started 2026 slowly. Verstappen has not won a race this year and has 4 podiums. Red Bull have been behind Mercedes, McLaren, and Ferrari at many events. But the team have made progress during the season, improved their reliability, and convinced Verstappen that they can move back towards the front. His official statement is clear. He says, Red Bull has the best people, that the team feels like a second family, and that he sees a clear vision under Mekis. He wants more victories and championships, but he does not pretend Red Bull are already there. That point is important. Verstappen has not signed because Red Bull are the fastest team today. He has signed because he believes in what they can become. The Red Bull Ford Power Unit project is part of that decision. 2026 is its first Formula 1 season, and it has had a difficult beginning. But the regulations will develop again in 2027, and Red Bull have years to improve their engine, reliability, and car. Verstappen is making a long-term choice based on that future potential. There is a risk for both sides, of course. If Red Bull remain in the midfield for years, the pressure on this partnership will return. If Mercedes or McLaren dominate, the questions about Verstappen's future will return as well. Right now, the answer is that Verstappen has chosen Red Bull. The new contract ends the immediate 2027 transfer story. It gives Red Bull stability. It allows the team to plan around the driver they trust most. And it removes the biggest uncertainty from the driver market. But the contract has not made the future completely predictable. That is why the fairest conclusion is not that Verstappen will definitely leave, and not that he can never leave. For now though, there is no move, there is no offer, there is no confirmed exit clause in the new deal. There is only a new Red Bull contract, a driver who says he believes in the project, and a team that now has to prove that belief was well placed.